Good morning. Good afternoon, really. Burn down, set your soul free. All here together in a spirit family. Everybody's dancing, everyone can see. Burn it down, set your soul free. I don't actually know how to play that song, but it's a great song. Go listen to it. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I didn't bring any tea or anything today, but that's okay. We don't need tea or any of that. This time, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have a good place to put this today. Actually, that's a lie. I'll put it right here. Cool. Alright, so, thoughts on 30. First of all, I hope everyone's been really good. Because, that's just the thing that I care about. I hope you're well. And if you're not well, then I hope you can get well soon. Be well soon. Get well soon. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Before I even start, actually, so in case you've been tuning into these, you probably recognize this space. This is my little room at home, so to speak, apartment. It's not really a permanent home, and I'm actually moving to a new home in like 2 days, so 2 or 3 or 4 or something, I don't know, soon, this week. I'm just moving to a different part of Golden, to house a couple new roommates. Really excited. Really excited for my new place. I'm gonna start gardening because it has a nice little yard, I think. So, and it has a porch and a little swing on the porch, and it's just a really cool spot. So anyway, this is the last that you will see of this room, unless I do this again tomorrow or something, which is unlikely. So take it in. Take it in. Anyway, so the thing is, I have this whole wall covered. You can't see it on there, but it goes kind of all the way around, actually. My whole room is pretty much covered. And my new place, I'm guessing I'll do the same thing where I'll like pretty much cover it, but it won't be the same arrangement. So I'm kind of excited to start anew in that regard. So yeah, take it in while you can. I mean, I don't know if I ever even showed like my whole room on this little thing. I guess I could. So I'm just gonna give this thing a little spin around. All right. So more art. There's a microphone, a desk, a bunch of Post-its, more art, waterfalls, window, posters above window. Okay, now I'm not actually able to see what I'm showing. There's a poster over there that's actually a show that I played, which I'm pretty proud of. Someone else made the poster for me. There's a nice little tapestry, some more art, a little mirror. Hey look, it's you and me. There's my guitar, and then the door, and that's the room. So, in case you were wondering what my room is actually like, the secret life of Andrew Fletcher. It's not so secret, to be honest. So yeah, that's what this room looks like. Some of my friends lovingly call it the Fletch Nest, which I find hilarious. I think that's such a funny name. One of my friends just came in here one day and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's the Fletch Nest, of course." Like, and I'm like, "Oh okay." Like, it's a funny name. It's nice and cozy. It's not too big. I like what I have here though. Anyway, so yeah, that's my room. Moving to a new place, really excited. Great, whatever. Thoughts on 30, what I was going to talk about today is basically illuminating yourself. And so what the context behind like illuminating yourself is, the Buddha's last words before he died were that we have to be a lamp unto ourselves. Meaning, if you wish to become enlightened or to grow spiritually or anything really, the answers aren't outside of you. We have to be a lamp to ourselves. So what this means is like, if you want to, again, make any spiritual progress, what that generally means is like become more okay with things, become more okay with yourself, become more okay with the world. If you want to do that, you already have all the answers. It's not just waiting for you to discover it. Well, in a sense it is, but it's not waiting for you to discover it outside of yourself, you know? And so I was reading this great book by Jack Kornfield, which I have over there, called A Path with Heart. And so he put this super well. You know, a big part of that book is like, here's a ton of different spiritual traditions, here's kind of what they have in common, and here's what you need to find from whichever one you choose. And this is part of it. That's actually where I kind of got most of what I'm talking about. And so with all these different traditions, you know, you have to discover for yourself what knowledge is gonna save you, you know, or save you. I mean, it just sounds contradictory, because a big part of that realization is also that there's not really anything to save, you know? It's not like, oh, I'm imperfect and this thing outside of me is gonna save me. No, I mean, so much of this is realizing and accepting that imperfections and all, you are already perfect, you know? Because you go about your daily life and you live every second of it, whether you like it or not. And so a big part of this is just owning that, you know? Like, I am me and I am doing what I am doing, you know? A lot of people, they see themselves as imperfect, but why would they be imperfect? I mean, they're already doing what they're doing. They're not, you know, there's nothing that's being done that they don't want to do, because every moment is an active choice, you know? And so if that is kept in mind, everything you do is perfect, because everything you do is what you want to do, you know? Now, a big part of mindfulness is bringing attention to what you're doing and becoming more aware of what you're doing. And in that regard, you can maybe make some changes. I wouldn't even call them improvements, though. I mean, sure, you could be nicer to other people or whatever. But, you know, with all the world that's going on inside your head, you choose every action whether you like it or not, you know? Like, there's no... Yeah. So people need to shine a light onto themselves. And what that means is coming to own everything they do and accepting and appreciating, this is how I'm living my life, you know, this is what I'm doing. And that goes from simple things to like how you walk, you know, and you can actually imitate how people walk if you like study them really, if you pay attention to it. For example, you know, some people I know have like very particular walks. And, you know, even in a rainstorm, they could be fully clothed in coats and stuff. I could see them off in the distance and I could probably recognize them because I could see how they're walking, you know? And of course for them, it's an unconscious thing. They're just walking. They're just doing their walk, to put it differently. But I see that and I recognize their walk. You know, everyone is unique in the things that they do. Walking, talking, tone of voice, syntax, you know? All these things you have so much control over, and you're kind of caught in the rhythm of them, which is why you don't actually pay that much attention to them. For example, speaking a language, you know, the amount of sounds coming out of my mouth are like 5 a second to make all these words and jumble them together and stuff. If I was paying attention to each individual sound, it wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to speak the language because I would lose the rhythm of it. So rhythm is so important in that regard, you know. Yeah. So the other thing is, in accepting all of what you do, and, you know, I'm saying you know so much, that's kind of funny. I do that a lot, actually. In accepting all these things, and in fully becoming yourself, you know, spiritual progress and inquiry in general, one might argue the purpose of it is to discover who am I, to answer the question, who am I? It's not, how can I be the best version of, you know, that doesn't make any sense. No, the spiritual inquiry is about who am I and discovering and embracing that, you know, and that's how you become happy. You don't change who you are. In a sense, you gain control over who you are, and that can change the ways that you act, but you don't actually change. I mean, the knowledge that brings you to something like enlightenment or any spiritual attainment is all within you to begin. Oh no, is the connection thing broken? I hope it's working. That would be really annoying if it's not. that interrupted my flow a little bit. What was I saying? Well, if you want to attain spiritual progress, again, the answers are all within you already. And you find that the answers are pretty simple, too. You've lived your whole life, and you've gained a lot of knowledge from living your whole life, whether you like it or not. And usually the things that really matter to you, the things that you really know, and that aren't outside of you, which is, again, that's a big part of what this is. Like, what is the knowledge that I have within me about the world? It's not knowledge that's outside of you, it's within you. It ends up being really simple. For me, for example, I gave this a long, hard think. Not that long or hard of a think, but I was thinking about this, and I think, for me personally, I don't need very much. Meaning, to be happy, I guess. You know, I don't need very much to, like, just go about my life and just enjoy myself. And so I took note of this recently. So then as I went about my life, I started noting where I was taking more than I needed, maybe eating too much, or, you know, spending too much, or wanting too much, you know? Points of excess. And by drawing attention to those things, you gain a little control over, do I really need this? And if not, can I choose to just take a little less, you know? And just, because again, I've found in my life that excess generally leads to me being unhappy, you know? And it's pretty simple, again, but, and the answer's in there, you know, in my heart and my mind and all that already. But if you don't pay attention to what that knowledge actually is, like, what have I learned from this world about myself and my happiness and all that? If you don't pay attention to that, it's not, I mean, you'd be pretty confused. You would be pretty confused. Because you would see this quickly changing world and not really have a clue what's going on, you know, for you inside, emotionally, logically, etc., you know? I don't know if I've made very good pedagogical sense during this little rant. You know, another thing, man, I keep saying, you know, whatever, I'm not gonna worry about it. A big thing about, shoot, I lost my train of thought again. Oh, that's the thing, I'm very scatterbrained, you know, and, you know, it's like when you have those presentations in school, and whenever you say someone in the back of the room hits a buzzer, and once you start paying attention to it, it's so distracting. But no, I'm such a scatterbrained person. I'm constantly, like, just going after thoughts and, like, seeing what comes out of them. I have a pretty vivid imagination, I would say, which I see as a very, very, very good thing. But it also means I'm extremely distracted. Take what you can get, I guess, you know? Yeah. So I encourage, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I encourage you to examine what bits and pieces of information hold true through your own life. Pieces of wisdom that will help you live better. Again, for me, I think the biggest one is I don't need very much. For other people, I don't know, there's a lot of examples, like everything is changing and I don't know what's what. That's a pretty common one, I would say. People realize that no matter what these spiritual traditions tell you and whatever comes up during meditation, the actual knowledge of the world is very simple. How do I understand the world? It's all changing. I don't need very much. Loving others makes me happy, you know? That sort of thing. So I encourage you to look for these tidbits of information in your own life, and they'll help you get through perhaps some hard times. An exercise that you can try, which I'm stealing from that book, is you can meditate on a very difficult experience you've had recently, and try to recall it very vividly, and really put yourself in your shoes at that point. And so this exercise is like, you step out of that situation, you imagine yourself stepping out of that situation, you imagine a Buddha or Jesus or Mother Mary or the goddess of compassion, some enlightened being, they take over for you, and they step back into the situation, and you observe, how do they respond? You don't have to respond to the situation, they're doing it for you, and look at how they act. So maybe they're acting with a lot more compassion that you didn't think you had it in you, or maybe they're acting out of forgiveness or just joy, and all these things that you hadn't seen, you realize they're just so simple. So simple. So much of spirituality is just simplicity, for Christ's sake. For Christ's sake. Yeah. And that's a big part of Zen, obviously. Zen tradition. You remove these extra things that are clouding your knowledge, like I want or I am. You take those away, and you realize that you're a very wise person who doesn't need a lot, who you know how to live your life, put differently, because you live it. Isn't it obvious? You're doing it already. So a big part of spiritual attainment is just accepting that and diving into it and being happy with it. And whenever something bad comes along, you just accept that too. You accept it as part of your experience. This is part of my world right now in this moment. And easier said than done, yes, but possible, absolutely. So yeah, be well. Yeah, I've been feeling pretty up and down recently. My life is woo. But a big part of it that I've learned is, again, I don't need very much. So whenever it's here, I don't need a lot, and whenever it's here, I don't need a lot. And knowing that, I can just kind of ride it. I get very happy and I get very sad on a daily basis. I'm not gonna lie, it is what it is. But I recognize that I lived through all of it, and I'll be fine. I'm not worried. So yeah. Anyway, be well. I'm gonna keep playing guitar for you guys. If anybody has any questions or suggestions or any of that business, feel free to drop me a line and stuff. Yeah, we can learn about ourselves together. pretty much. Folks, see you next time.